Shout outs to Anderson, and he's correct. And I'm seeing this now a lot more. So, Anderson, I just released a video about Metroid. There's a part two that's going to be coming up. Don't worry about that. But look at that. Everybody now is jumping on the trailer stuff, like Anderson has been saying. So it's like, what the hell? Can we just? This is why we can't have good things. All right. What is you saying? What is you saying? Let's indulge in a little bit and see.
Games, right? They showed the Nintendo Switch 2 hardware reveal direct. That was in like April. But we finally got release dates for big major games coming out from the first party of Nintendo, specifically Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. I mean, that game has been shown for years. Let's go all the way back to when it first was revealed at E3 2017. Insane to even, like, it doesn't sound true when I say it, right? But then a few years later, Nintendo came out again at a direct and said, you know, this game has not been developing the way we want it to be, so we're switching development teams. They gave Metroid Prime back to Retro Studios, who made the first one, and it's one of the best games of all time. So they gave it to Retro. So Retro's been working on this maybe the last like 5 to 7 years.
You see, this is why I said about people who say they are Metroid fans. Let me the first one. Let me the first 3. What are you talking about? All the prior games were Retro.
Years. So about last year, I think in 2024, Nintendo starts showing Metroid Prime 4, and they call it Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, and they start showing like gameplay of the beginning of the game, and they start talking about it, showing it in directs, but they do not give a release date ever until this September Direct 2025. So now we know Metroid Prime 4 is coming out December 4th. I could just see it the whole year going by and no release date. They were just pushing this game, asking Retro. Nintendo was like, hey, is it ready? Can we put this out? It has to come out this year. We've been waiting forever.
That's not how they do it. I can tell you that from being in Nintendo. That's not how they do it. They say, hey, is the game get what it is, what is good? No? Okay, then keep on working on it. That's not how they do it. Again, I know because I'm there inside. I was inside Nintendo. I see a lot of inner workings. That's not how they do stuff.
You know, so they waited to the last window to release in December, which Nintendo games usually do not come out in December, but that's okay. We're going to get Metroid Prime.
Yes, they have. Xenoblade 2 came out in December. And whatever.
For this year, the same year we get Silk Song, and these two games were both like mythical games. Like, who knew when they were ever going to come out, or if the development was even going well for some years in there. Like, nobody knew, nobody heard from them. What a year it is to have Silk Song. I'm still going through that. And to have Metroid Prime 4 on the horizon here. So the first trailers and the gameplay trailers that they showed last year were great. It looked so much like the first Metroid Prime game, like the remaster that they made on Switch. You could see Retro's using the same kind of like assets and technology to make Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. But the problem recently...
No, that's not how they... That's not what they're doing either. Metroid Prime 4 is built from the ground up. Prime is re-rendering some of the stuff from Prime Remaster is re-rendering some stuff. Prime is from the 4 up. Again, I know these things. Sorry, being that I have inside people working, but that's not how it's working. Anyway, I'll continue again.
This September Direct this year was that they showed a segment of the game that looked awful, to be honest. Like, they showed, first of all, Samus on a motorcycle, like a futuristic motorcycle. That was cool. But the way she was riding it around in this barren desert, like just literally just sand. There was like maybe some mountains in the background, and I saw like one little building or something. And so you see her locking on to this like aerial boss that's like moving around at high speeds, and she's trying to zoom around on the motorcycle and destroy it. It just didn't look like the greatest part of the game. However, you know, everyone's like, oh, Metroid Prime 4 looks awful now. I'm not going to start saying that.
Oh, no, it looks awful. Okay. All right. If there's any game out there that needs, and I'll be honest, that needs a more open world-ish, to be honest with you, is Metroid. And the reason I say that is because that's more realistic of a sci-fi. Like, yeah, you're on a plane. Look at um one of Pitch Black and Chronicles of Riddick and those kind of games, those kind of movies. Those are my fun. Vin Diesel movies I do like to watch more than the Fast and the Furious. But yeah, it happens. There are barren lands up there. You're not gonna have everything perfectly. Like, again, y'all want stuff to be realistic, but then you don't want it to be realistic. I don't get that. People said the exact same thing with Breath of the Wild and Tales of the Kingdom. Alright? Like, if you want straight up action, there's Zelda games that does that. Metroid mostly have most of that in most cases. If you want it to be constantly moving, Metroid Prime 2 is your favorite. Well, this is one of my favorite Metroids. It's up the alley. But let's not get it twisted though. Okay? I figured when I saw that trailer, I was like, people gonna start saying it's boring, and I don't know, whatever. And if it comes out to be that it's just a simple landscape, it's boring, whatever, it happens, all right, then we go with that. Let it be, as long as all the stuff is good. But a mode of transportation, just keep it excitement, I'm cool with that. See, I'm open-minded to do that.
The whole game looks bad, and it's going to be a bad game because of this motorcycle trailer. I don't know why they showed that. Probably because it's the newest signature feature of this game where, you know, the first Metroid Prime is such a tight-knit, isolated game. It's like tight corridor exploration. It's just Samus, who I have to say is badass and sexy. I love Samus. Let's go. But as she's moving through this planet in Prime 1, it's just a great atmosphere of a game, right? Tight little rooms and corridors to explore. Nothing open world or anything in that game, but here it looks like in Metroid Prime 4 they're trying to do some of that, and that might not be what a Metroidvania, what a Metroid Prime game needs. You know, Metroid Prime is just a 3D version of a Metroidvania. They took the camera and put it right behind.
No, a Metroid Prime game is a 3D version of a Metroid game. What the fuck? A Metroidvania. Again. Let it go, Liger. Let it go. Stupidity.
Samus's eyes and designed the first Metroid Prime as a Metroidvania still. So that's like a
Metroid
it's
game.
why it's a masterpiece of game design and level design. The way they flip the perspective of these games that already existed, like Castlevania and the 2D Metroid game.
That's the part that pisses me off. That's why I gotta let it go, but I can't. Metroid was the first one that did it. It's a Metroid style game. I'm not saying you are not gonna hear me say Metroidvania, because it's not. Vania took the style from Metroid. Did it made it their own unique way? Yes, but the style came from that. And I'm not against Castlevania. I like Castlevania games. Got nothing against it. But again, it's like y'all don't want to give credit to the thing that started it. That's who started it, Metroid.
So they changed everything with Prime 1, and here we are with Prime 4. The first trailer, like I said, the first gameplay mission they showed looks really good. It looks like this Prime 1 kind of atmospheric setting. But this motorcycle mechanic has like changed this game for me and a lot of people, I think, online who are seeing this. And they're saying, how is this game gonna play? Like, are we still gonna be in these facilities or these parts of the planet that are like tight-knit?
This is why I like gameplay for trailers, because the gameplay shows that you're walking around, you're still in tight areas, you're still in corridors. You just have this one open section. Oh my God. This is why I don't like the hype stuff, and you're proving my point. And you're proving the point of the video that I did with John of that situation. People are not looking at the gameplay because it's weird. It is weird that they're just overlooking this shit.
Exploration, or are we going to be opening this game up big time? And I think those motorcycle instances, because they showed one in the desert and they showed one not in a desert, and she's still on the bike. I think the bike is going to chain together or link together these different maps, right? So you're not going to have like one giant Metroidvania map, like in a facility. There's going to be one
Okay, Metroidvania map. That again. I'm just pissed off at that stuff. Metroidvania map, and Metro was the one who started it. But this is where Metroid fans are now, quote unquote fans. Yeah. And you want to know why this game is held up by nicheness, because of shit like people who say stuff like that and whatever. Okay, whatever.
facility, and then Samus will use the bike to like cross part of the planet and go to a different facility, right? Or a different location. Maybe there's some outside areas in this game too. Like I remember seeing like a jungle area from last year's trailer, right? So
Yeah.
there does look to be some nice variety in the maps that you'll explore, like desert, jungles, space stations, you know. But I think with all those different areas, they'll each have like tight little maps to explore and bosses to face, right? And you'll progress the main story, but they won't all be connected. You'll have to like drive there or something. In that case, I don't think it's gonna be detrimental. Like, I don't think it's gonna take away too much from the game. It doesn't look great. I'm talking about why it doesn't look.
Maybe in this they have some portals, as we saw, and maybe at the outset there's interference in the planet that Samus cannot, kind of like Metroid Prime 2 or 3. Maybe the interference that they can't do portals at the beginning, maybe they do it later on, or there's a portal and it's only one-way portals, or maybe something with the planet that's hype, that's focuses is basically psychic, that is hindering us from doing certain things, and you maybe need a mechanical, physical something to transport across the world instead of something being teleported. There's so many reasons that could happen. But for right now, let's just wait for the game, buy it, and see what happens.
So great in a second here. I think it might actually be a breath of fresh air for Samus to get on the bike and explore, and you're skirting around these alien planets in a wide open space for a little bit of the game, right? And then you get back into the tight-knit Metroidvania exploration of wherever your destination was. So this could be potentially a nice palate cleanser to the gameplay, but let's talk about the real problem here, and is the visuals of this game and of this motorcycle segment. So they showed just a really empty looking wasteland and all that. But why do you think that is? Like, we have to remember Metroid Prime 4 is a Switch 1 game. Just like I said in my video about...
Ain't gonna do nothing with that. You could cross the desert in Breath of the Wild without seeing anybody else for a while, right? Or any enemies too. I've done it multiple times. Same thing with Tears of the Kingdom. It happens. Jeez Louise, man. It ain't gotta be a Switch 1 problem. Again, this is why we got the Metroid fans we got now.
Pokemon Legends ZA. Well, the video was the direct video, but I mentioned Pokemon Legends ZA. These are Switch 1 games. Metroid Prime 4, Switch 1 game. This game should have come out on the Switch 1's lifetime. This should, we should look back at the Switch and say, Metroid Prime 4 was a great Switch 1 game. It's the Metroid Prime game for the Switch 1 generation. Man, that was awesome, right?
Yeah,
but no,
but
we're
it didn't
here
happen.
in 2025 and the Switch 2 has already launched, and this game, because of its tumultuous development cycle, has been delayed and pushed far into the point where we're not really in the Switch 1 hype anymore. It's all Switch 2. So we have this Prime 4 game that comes out and it doesn't look like a Switch 2 game. It's looking like a Switch 1 game, right? And it's just...
What? What's a Switch 1 game? Prime 1 held up pretty good on the GameCube. Still looks phenomenal to now. Yes, it got a reboot on the Switch with more higher res assets, but they have good assets in the original game that make it even easier to transcribe over. Metroid Prime 2, 3 looks good to me. What are you talking about?
Gonna have 60 FPS or even 120 FPS on Switch 2 and 4K resolution.
Yeah.
But on the Switch 1, it's going to be you know, 720p 60, 1080p 60, and that's the
Yeah.
way the game was designed. And so we have to keep that in mind. People need to temper their expectations about Metroid Prime 4 because it's not a next generation game. It's just going to be ported to Switch 2 and up-resed, right? But it is made for the Switch 1 and it has been for like 8 years. So with that in mind, I'm still going to appreciate the game. I'm still going to really enjoy playing it because Metroid Prime 1 is one of my favorite games of all time. So what do you guys think about Metroid Prime 4? Has this trailer with the motorcycle killed it for you? Or are you still excited to play one of the most mythical, legendary games in development history to come out this year, just like Silksong? I feel like you have to be there as part of history, right? Let's see.
Nintendo is just being greedy at this point. So you have a video already that you're already talking about that. So again, and this is why I said, yeah, oh goody. These are the type of people that are fans of a game that talks a lot, talks it up, but then you're surprised when they don't sell and then still shits on the game. That's what this is. Anyway, I ain't got nothing else to say. Whatever. I'll leave it as is. Remember, there's no perfect games out there. Perfect is not perfect to me. What's perfect to me is not perfect to you. Simply enjoy a game on all consoles, including PC and mobile phone, because if these are the people I call my brothers in arms for Metroid games, you know, Anderson and you know other people, we're fucked. This game is not gonna sell good. And when I mean sell good, it could be the most best-selling Metroid game, but it's gonna sell 10 million. And Metroid Prime 4 does not sell 10 million, and Metroid would never sell high numbers like Mario, Zelda, and anything. Okay, point taken. That's just what it is. It's a niche. It's a niche game. Let it stay niche for the 3-4 million people who love the game, and that's all it is. With that said, peace out.